Hi coaches, I'm Jason Layton, creator of WrestlingTournaments.com. Let me show you how to make some money by helping athletes via private lessons. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to WrestlingTournaments.com and we're going to click Login in the top right corner. Here we're going to create an account. When I click Create an Account, it's going to send an email to my email. Make sure to check your spam folder, it might be in there. Okay, I see the email, I click on it, and then I confirm my email. Great, now I'm logged in. The first thing I'm going to do is create an athlete. To do that, I'm going to go to the account menu in the top right corner, select athletes, and then I'm going to create a new athlete. Every coach is an athlete. In order to give private lessons, you need to first affiliate with the team. So let's search for your team, and then let's join it. You're going to go to Account, Athletes, Give Private Lessons. Now, in order to get to this page, you must have been approved by WrestlingTournaments.com. So if you can't get to this page, it just means you need to give us a call. But here we are. Right now, I am in my lessons dashboard. And here I've got a bunch of things that I'm going to need to do to get set up to give private lessons. The first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to set up my banking information. I'm going to go to Payouts, and I'm going to select Set Up Stripe. Stripe is the leading online processor, and they're going to serve as a go-between between our website and your bank account. By setting up a Stripe account, after you complete lessons, we'll send money to your Stripe account. Stripe will then send money to your bank account. We don't get any access to your banking information. Alright, so I'm going to start by creating a new business. This way we keep everything separate from any other businesses that we might have selected. I'll select individual because I'm a person. I don't have my own company set up. Alright, so let's fill out some information. Okay, so for industry, what we've been doing is we've been typing in other, and it's been an other educational service. For website, if you have your own website, or if your team has a website, you can list that. If you don't have a website, you can just use WrestlingTournaments.com. For your product description, you're going to want to say something like private lessons for the sport of wrestling. Let's continue. Here's where we hook up our banking information. All right, now this is what our customers are going to see. You can probably leave it as it is. You're going to want to put in your own phone number for the customer support phone number. It's going to ask you if you want to donate to climate change. That's up to you. Okay, next, let's select advertising. Now, this lesson card is going to be shown to potential customers once I'm set up. And right now, if I click schedule a lesson, it'll actually pop it up and show you what it looks like to athletes who are trying to schedule with me. Let's finish setting it up though. So I can come down here and I can put some information. I'm even able to paste in pictures here. So if I save this information, and now I go back and look at my lesson card, I can see that that information comes right below that the customers will see. If I want to edit my picture, this is my profile picture. So I'm going to have to go to Account, Athletes again, and now I'm going to select Profile. Here, I should submit a clear image. Now that I've submitted my profile picture, if I go back to Give Private Lessons and I get back to my dashboard, now if I look at advertising, I can see that my profile picture is on my card. Remember, anytime you need to get back here, top right corner to account, athletes, Give Private Lessons. Okay, so after advertising, the next thing that we're going to want to take a look at is lesson types. This is the type of lesson people will be able to purchase. So for example, I'm going to set up a 1-hour private lesson. I'll create the lesson type. And then now it's here in my active lesson types. If I decided to stop offering this, I could deactivate it. Let's now head over to pricing. Here, I can select the lesson type that I just created. I can say that one lesson is going to cost the customer $50 and that this lesson type is public. Anyone is able to purchase it. Let's create it. Great. Here, I can see that it's available for purchase and that it's currently active. If I wanted to stop letting people purchase it, I could deactivate it. Next, let's set up some sort of package discount. So for example, perhaps maybe I sell 10 lessons for $450. Create package. This incentivizes people to stick with me for longer and to do more lessons. Let's say I have a customer that I want to set a special price for because they've been with me for a long time. Well, let's say I'm going to sell them one lesson, but for them, they get the special rate of $25. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to make that a private. This means only certain people are going to be able to see or purchase this package. When I create the package now, I get this little option to add people who are allowed to purchase this. Here, I could go in and I could specify which athletes can see this. I'm going to say that Alex Laglisi is able to see this package and purchase it. And we'll also put in Cameron Howard. Both of these athletes now will see this special discounted rate when they go to purchase, but no one else will know of its existence. If I decide at any point I can deactivate it and it's no longer possible to be purchased. Next, let's take a look at your availability. If you mark yourself as available, customers will be able to schedule lessons with you. Let's start by selecting a date and time that we're available. I'm going to say that I'm available Monday evenings from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The location I'm going to be available at Monday night is at Dynamic. I add availability. I'm going to do one other availability. I'm going to say that I'm also available Wednesdays from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're also going to be at Dynamic that day. If in the future I stop wanting to offer lessons at those times, I can simply remove them from my availability. You can also set up specific times that you're going to be unavailable. For example, if you're going on vacation or you're busy one night, you can just schedule when you won't be available and customers will not be able to schedule lessons with you at that time. Let's schedule a lesson. Here, I can select an athlete that I want to give the lesson to. I can select the lesson type and the location where it's going to happen. I'll select the time of the lesson. The end date is automatically set. And I can potentially set this up as a series. If I set it up as a series, it will occur every week until the end of the series. If I just set it up as a single lesson, it will only be one lesson. Let's actually show you a series just to teach it how it works. I'm going to set up a 3-week series. I can put notes if I wanted to, and then I can decide whether or not the lesson is publicly viewable or if it's private. If I click this little question mark, it'll explain what that means. Pretty much, a publicly viewable lesson will show other customers information about the athlete. This is great for getting partners. For example, if I schedule a lesson with a 55-pound 7-year-old, but I need a partner, it's good for this lesson to be public because other athletes will be able to see and potentially join in. If it's set as private, they won't see information about the athlete, nor will they be able to schedule their own lesson at the same time. Let's go ahead and schedule the lesson. I'm seeing a conflict right now, but the lesson was scheduled anyway. The reason it's a conflict is because remember when we set up our availability, I'm setting this lesson up outside of my availability. As a coach, you get to break the rules and schedule lessons whenever you want, but a customer would be denied from scheduling this lesson because it's not during your available time. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the calendar. Here, we can see the lesson that we just set up, along with your available times and the unavailable time that you set up. We got that error message a moment ago because I set this lesson up outside of my available times. At the top, we can see the location key. This is how I know where and when I've set myself up to be available. Again, a coach can always schedule a lesson regardless of conflicts, but a customer cannot. Things to know here, we can move forward and backwards in the calendar. We can also take a look at month view and day view. And we can even see it as an agenda, which will just show me everything that is happening. When I'm ready to check out a lesson, I can click on it and see additional information about the lesson. Here I can see it's with Alex. I can see Alex's picture. I know Alex's weight and what he last weighed in at, along with their phone number. I can see where the lesson happened, when it was created, what type of lesson it is, and whether it's private or public. I can also see if they've purchased it already. Notice, this person has not purchased the lesson, so I won't be able to mark it as complete. If I change my mind and don't want to do this lesson, I can cancel the lesson, or I can even cancel the entire series. Let's take a look at month view. I want to show you that. Because we set up a series, it's happening week to week for the 3 weeks that we set it up for. If I want to cancel just this one lesson, I click cancel lesson, and now the lesson disappears. But let's say I wanted to cancel all the lessons in the series. I can just select the lesson and click cancel series. This is only going to cancel this lesson and every lesson after it. It will not cancel previous lessons that were in the series. Now the series has been canceled. Okay, next I'd like to show you probably the most powerful tool in the software, which is Search Local Athletes. This is going to help you find people that are close to your club, and you've got access to a lot of the athletes that are already in the WrestlingTournaments.com database. What I'll do is I'll select the location, and then I'll click Search All Athletes. Now I'm working with test data, so there's only 6 athletes that are near this club. But on WrestlingTournaments.com, near my home club, I've got about 800 athletes. I can see their rating, their weight, and their age, along with how far they are from the club. If they're members of my team, I get to see their phone number and their email. If not, it's marked as private. But I can send anyone a message. So for example, if I needed a partner for a 42-pound athlete, these may be good potential partners, and I could just send them a message. So if I was looking for a partner that was between 40 and 50 pounds, I could just come over here and say, hey, show me a partner between 40 and 50 pounds. When I search, it narrows down my search results. Now let's talk a little bit about this rating. What is rating? It's kind of the backbone of WrestlingTournaments.com. We have an accurate way of rating all athletes, from your youngest, lightest beginners to your heaviest, most elite adults. To see someone's rating history, I can click on their profile. Here, I'm going to be able to see how their rating changes when they win or lose matches. For example, this person's rating grew by 400 points when he defeated Nico. If I go and I look at Nick Coe, I can see how his rating has changed over time. Our rating is a really accurate system, and pretty much anyone within 400 points is going to be a competitive match. If they're the same rating, each athlete will win 50% of the time. If they're 200 points apart, the higher rated athlete will win 75% of the time. If they're 400 points apart, the higher rated athlete will win 90% of the time. But they're still competitive matches winnable for both athletes. This is a very helpful way of finding appropriate partners for private lessons. If I change the competition style, I could see their rating in different styles of wrestling. I can sort by gender, I can sort by age, weight, minimum or maximum rating, and I can limit it to athletes based on how recently they've weighed in. Right now, I'm only showing athletes who've weighed in the past 6 months. Okay, that's the overview of how the coach's dashboard works. You're going to be using this a lot. Remember, to get here, you're going to go to Account, Athletes, Give Private Lessons. Now, let's take a look at the customer experience. I'm going to head back to the homepage of WrestlingTournaments.com, and I'm going to select Private Coaching. Here, I'm going to find a private coach, and now I can either search by local coaches or clubs. Let's try clubs. I can type in the address, and it will show me all clubs that are local. When I click on the clubs page, it will show me every coach that works out of that club. Here's the coach I just created. Let's try to schedule a lesson with John. Okay, the customer clicks on it and sees John's lesson card along with his information. If he scrolls down or clicks schedule a lesson, it's going to bring them to here where they can actually schedule and pay for the lesson. Notice there's 4 steps: selecting the athlete, viewing the calendar, scheduling the lesson, and purchasing the lesson. The first thing they'll do is select from their athletes. Let's add a new athlete to my account to schedule the lesson with John. Okay, now that I've created the athlete, it's an available option in the drop-down. If I select the athlete, it moves on to viewing the coach's calendar. Here, I can select from the availabilities. If I just try to click anywhere, I'm going to get a message that says you can only schedule a lesson during the coach's scheduled availabilities. Available times are shown where the background is colored. Check out the location key to see where when they are available. So here I can see that he's available at dynamic when it's light blue. So okay, here are some available times. Let's say I want to schedule Monday at 6 p.m. I just click it and it moves to schedule the lesson. And 6 p.m. on Monday is already selected. I can select our lesson type and I can leave him a message for the coach. Let's proceed to the final step. Here is where they can purchase the lesson, and it only shows them the options for the 1-hour private lesson because that's what they chose. I'm going to purchase a single lesson. So the customer's lesson has been scheduled. Both you and the customer will receive text messages confirming the lesson. The night before the lesson, the customer will receive a reminder text. Lastly, this takes the customer to their dashboard, where they can see their upcoming lessons, Their remaining lessons, if they've purchased the package, they still have this one lesson left. Lessons they've used, the ability to schedule additional lessons, and the ability to purchase additional lessons. To get to this page, the customer goes to Account and clicks Athletes, and instead of clicking on Give Private Lessons, they click Get Private Lessons. One last thing, you're really going to want to download our app. If you get the WrestlingTournaments.com app, you're going to be able to receive immediate notifications if somebody sends you a message. You can find the app in either app store by searching for Wrestling Tournaments and looking for our logo. That's it, coaches. Final reminder, to get to your lesson dashboard, click Account, click Athletes, and then select Give Private Lessons. If you need any help, please reach out to our support team or ask any question to the chatbot right here. This chatbot is pretty smart and we're always working on it. Thank you and best of luck with your wrestling.